We can see global markets celebrating Donald Trump's return to the White House. We have seen Wall Street, Asian markets, as well as Indian markets really extend those gains. So, of course, to decode what does this mean for the global economy and global markets at large, I'm joined by Mitali Nekor, senior economist. I'm also joined by Anand Ladda. He is the founder of Invest Aj for Kal, also a mutual fund distributor. Thank you both for your time. Mitali, what does this then mean for the global economy at large?
So I think, Sakshi, yesterday when we were discussing this topic, all of us were a little bit confused. Will it be neck and neck, or will it be, an out and out victory for any one of the candidates? And I think today it's been clear that it's not neck and neck. He's won the popular vote. He's won, the electoral colleges, numbers are with him. And all three, I mean, this is the first time in a long time that Republicans are controlling the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the presidency. So this will mean that, there is no way that they can accord blame on anyone else, and they need to show action very quickly. And, if you look at the victory speech that the president gave and the vice president also gave, immediately their first, word was, we are going to fix the economy. So I think it's very clear for the US that, they want to come in and they want to show very clearly faster rates of growth. They want to take actions, especially, I will not be surprised if we see a more protectionist US coming out of this regime, because he has spoken about tariffs on a number of commodities, on a number of supply chains, primarily targeting China, and he has made it very clear. And, it's almost no holds barred that, this is the one country that I'm going to, be excluding from global supply chains and global markets. So, he has made that very clear in many speeches. So I'll not be surprised if at least few announcements and few policy decisions actually walk that talk, because if he doesn't do anything on it, then he will be called out that, this was something you promised, but you didn't deliver. And I think apart from that, really, if we look at today, the markets cheering, it's because of this. A strong US economy is good for the whole world, which is selling its products and services to the US consumer. So, at the end of the day, this is really signaling a clear focus on the economy going forward.
Right, Anand, your first thoughts. Donald Trump's return to the White House, what does this indicate for global markets at large? Of course, we have seen the celebrations, be it Asian markets or Nifty and Sensex. But what does this mean for the global markets at large?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me on the show. Hi, Mitali ma'am. Hi, Sakshi ma'am. Good to be here. See, I personally feel that market like clarity. When we have a clear winner, market is certain about what it can expect in future. And this victory celebration, I think, might rub off for next few days, but eventually market will settle down. And the biggest worries for US is right now, every 100 days, they are adding their debt by $1 trillion, which is a big figure. So now all focus will go upon how policy decisions are being made. And is there something they can do to revive their debt cycle? Because kind of even US is getting into a debt trap, which needs to be solved. So my major focus will be, are there any decision taken for that debt part, which will be quite critical from 1 year perspective. If we look at history of stock market, history tells that whenever US has a stable government and a single major win, in next 1 year, equity market tend to do well. So fingers crossed for this time as well, and hoping for the best.
Okay, that's as far as the historical trends are concerned for the markets, and optimistic mood there, an upbeat scenario there. But Mitali, what does this then mean for the Indian economy? Yesterday, of course, we were discussing possible scenarios. Today, I'm asking you, what does Donald Trump's return to the White House mean for the Indian economy per se?
So I think, Sakshi, few trends are very clear. The first trend, which is very clear, is that the trade between India and the US has been on a growth path. I mean, that's been on a growth path for the last 8 years. Whether it was the Trump administration or the Biden administration, I don't see that changing. In fact, I see that strengthening. And a lot of, work has gone into creating a conducive environment for a number of US companies to come and invest in India. And I feel like that is only going to accelerate and continue under this administration. Of course, it cannot be so overt, because now he has to always show that it's US first. But at the same time, there is a realization that you can't manufacture in the US. The costs are simply too high and you need an alternative. And India will emerge as one of the alternative countries, where manufacturing will come and park its capital. The second area where I hope to see a lot more collaboration between India and the US is the tech sector. Because Indian IT companies at this point in time, the one thing they need to lobby for is to work more closely with US IT companies so that we can move up in the value chain. And so that we are not just like, a back office to the US, but like a partner in the US tech industry. And I think that is somewhere, where we have to lobby and where, we may find a, favorable dispensation with the current administration. And then I think thirdly, it's really going to be around renewable energy. Because that's one area where the US is investing. And while Trump may not say it in his speeches, because obviously he has to win the elections, but the overall, Republican administration understands that they need to create markets for renewable energy. And it has to be private sector led. So I think that's where, a lot of collaboration is possible. And again, India can push for that.
Right. So that's as far as sector-specific collaborations could help, like you said. But Anand, what would you say about markets in general? Sectors that, those watching at home, investors at large should be bullish on now that this result has emerged?
Firstly, I respect Mitali ma'am, and she is an amazing economist, but I would like to differ at one point. I am sure she is more experienced in me as far as economies are concerned, but just from stock markets perspective, I personally feel that Trump might again focus on US first sentiments, because of which IT sector in India might take a hit for short term. They have to look out for some alternative objective or alternative growth, because I think if US first thing starts, then IT sector in India might take a hit. But at the same time, as rightly mentioned by ma'am, consumption will take a big boost because they are planning to put in around 60% import duties on China, which is slightly, rather a lot higher than other countries, because of which production might shift largely from China to India, which will be a big plus for India. At the same time, if we look at alternative asset classes, they might do well. Although in India, we have a lot of restrictions as far as cryptos are concerned, but Trump is outrightly supported by Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is outrightly supporting all the cryptos. Even Trump supports all the cryptos, so that might take a jump. But at the same time, it might be difficult time for gold and silver. In 2016, also there was a top which was made in gold and silver. But eventually, I feel that now commodity as an asset class is better equipped for Trump and his policies. So we might not see that big fall in gold or silver, but still, what returns we have seen in last 1 year or maybe last 2 years or last few years might not be possible to repeat in the coming near future, at least. So this is the major consumption perspective. India is on a big thumbs up.
Right. And, that could explain why, of course, you mentioned cryptos. That could explain why we've seen Bitcoin surge to a record high. And, like you both said, interesting to really watch out to what this America First mantra will mean for global economies and India in particular going forward. Thank you so much for sharing your initial thoughts.